The king of the monsters is about to clash with a computerized copycat. Here's your look at the Diamond Select Godzilla 1993 Gallery statue. This gallery diorama of Godzilla is based on his appearance in the 1993's Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. It is made of high-quality PVC and features detailed sculpting and paint applications. It was designed by Joe Allard and sculpted by Jorge Santos Souza. We're going to be getting down to the details on Godzilla 1993 in a second. First, though, I'd like to thank the folks over at Diamond Select that did provide this sample we could have a look at. One thing you may have noticed omitted at the beginning of this review was actually the unboxing of the box, and even the fact that the box didn't even appear at this beginning of the video. Judging by the size of Godzilla and then how much allotted space the box needed to be, there was no way I could actually get it to turn on my turntable, so we had to do kind of without that. But what we won't do without, though, is measuring off the statue. Just how high is it, you may be asking? Well, Godzilla is impressively standing at 12 inches in height, or it's going to be about 31 centimeters tall. As for its length, now it's just as wide as it seems to be high. So going from one end of the tail, for example, to the front of the ship that he's destroying, again, you're looking at it being about 13 inches wide, or about 33 centimeters in width. With everything that's happening right now for Godzilla's smashing success in theaters for Godzilla 0, and we just recently got the trailer launch for Godzilla X Kong, the sequel to the first Godzilla vs. Kong, I thought it would be a fitting time to have a look at this statue. It's a good-sized statue as well, as we already measured off at the beginning of this video. One thing I really also like about this, may not look like it at the time, but if you spin the statue around, say, at around this space right here, they actually did take this design from the original Toho Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 from 1993. So if you go and look at the poster for Toho, it's literally this image of Godzilla. Of course, there's flame effects and Mechagodzilla is behind him. Hopefully, we will be getting a Mechagodzilla 2 that can go along with Godzilla, but judging really by how much tail space it's being occupied, it'd be pretty hard to kind of put a statue then behind it. I really, though, like the idea that they actually took the image from the original poster and found a way to translate that to PVC plastic. Picking this up, I can tell you right away, it's quite heavy. The bottom of the base, though, as you can see, is making use of kind of more of a translucent, opaque plastic, and it's a big hole in the bottom of it. Even though it is hollow, don't kid yourself, this thing isn't light at all. The bottom of the base has remnant remains. You can see it looks like that's the tail, perhaps, of Godzilla 2, Mechagodzilla. You got yourself like a little satellite dish, a rocket launcher. I think this is the thing that's actually on the back of Mechagodzilla 2. And a few, again, like just debris all around him. I love the way that they've actually done the smoke here. But again, like the base itself, if I could best describe it, there's a lot of heavy plastic happening here for Godzilla. There really isn't as much here for the base. And almost in a way, it feels like the base is too soft. But it still is going to hold its weight more fine. And really, I don't think there's going to be a problem with really necessarily with that. Head sculpt wise, it's a pretty good looking Godzilla also as well. Now, again, in the poster, he's basically blasting his atomic breath out the front. This would all be illuminated, though, in the poster. I think they've done a nice enough job here for the plastic release of him. The only thing I will say, though, is the flame effect that's coming out of his mouth just is lopsided. It's not completely straight. I'm sure I probably could go in there with a hairdryer, heat this enough, and just sort of have it resting against something to get it a little bit more straight than what it is right now. Getting, though, a closer look at the head sculpt for Godzilla, I like the way they've actually painted his pupils. In a way, he kind of looks a little cross-eyed by the way that the eyes are looking right center like this. They've colored nicely the little bit of white reflection off the corners of his eyes. They've added a little bit of orange there also to the sides of his irises, and colored nicely the teeth, both top and bottom rows. The teeth are so small, though. I mean, look at the details on those just alone. I really like the head sculpt. Again, it's just a shame that this part of the flame effect of his atomic breath kind of is lopsided as much as it is. I'm sure, again, I could probably fix that. The colors, though, carry over as well to the spine. As you can see, they're starting at the top in smaller spine spikes. Try saying that 10 times fast. And then all the way down, he has the larger platelets that stick out the middle of his back. I like the way that they're all illuminated here, giving a more frosted color. There are a few sections that almost look as if the paint's been chipped, and I'm sure that's not really the case. But again, a really nice detail. All of these fins, by the way, kind of like the base, are fairly soft plastic, so there's no likelihood, I'm sure, of any of these really breaking. The spikes go nicely down all the way around his tail as well. As you can see, the tail spirals its way around. If we spin this around to the back so you guys can hopefully see this all as well, there's a lot of good meaty plastic that they put into this piece. But again, like, it's got weight here, but it doesn't just have as much weight in the bottom of the base. And then the last thing he also is doing as well is he's ripping off the wing on one of these jets. The jet is nicely colored here. You can see it's got a little bit of the red. I think it's a jet. I'm trying to remember Godzilla 2, Mechagodzilla. I don't think this is a part of Mechagodzilla. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But you can see as well, like, this piece is a fairly soft plastic. He's holding essentially one side of the wing, and then he's ripping off the other piece then with his other hand. Again, it's really got some nice detailing. They've added a little bit of silver wear and tear to the bottom of it, and also onto the nose there as well. If I can spin this around so you guys can actually see it from the front. Yeah, it's again a really interesting looking statue. It's certainly one though that will require a lot of space on your part in order to get this guy on display. He's got a lot of cool texturing, he's got a lot of cool interesting paint elements added to him, but again, being that it is Godzilla, being the fact he also has a tail, there's going to be a good real estate amount of space that's going to be required to put this guy on your shelf. If you are one that solely likes to collect Godzilla statues, for example, it's definitely worth picking up. Not for more than just the reason alone that Diamond Select actually crafted this guy to be based on the original Toho poster of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 from 1993. The fact that they were able to replicate that is a really nice touch. Although it doesn't necessarily look as much as it until you kind of rotate it. It's kind of facing that way in the actual poster. Really nice release though from the folks over at Diamond Select. Just as Godzilla seemed to take over the city, Godzilla collectibles in my room seems to be also taking over as well. The thing that goes along with Godzilla statues is just the size of them. I mean, look at the size of just Godzilla holding the wing jet in the front of him and the long tail that he has on the back of the figure's body. There's a lot of really cool colors that they've added to this. I didn't talk as much about this, but I'll mention here in final looks, I really like the way they've airbrushed not only the spikes, but the coloring around the spikes as well. When you see it on his actual back, they've illuminated some of the areas around his back, so it actually does look in a way that it gets glowing, ready to be blasted out the front of his mouth. Again, like the mouth is a little on the bent side, just by the way it was sitting inside the package, but again, I'm probably sure I could get in there and fix it up, heat it up just a little bit to correct the lopsided point, because it actually, in a way, the way that it's bent right now, in a way it looks less like fire breath, and it looks like more of a pointed tongue. Let me see again, I'm going to fix that. It's definitely got a very elaborate base as well. I really like the smokier pink that they've used here for the majority of the base, and then again adding all those little broken remnants all around Godzilla. It's a really interesting showpiece. It's one that will draw a lot of attention to your room the moment somebody walks by the statue and happens to catch their eye. Big thank you once again to the folks over at Diamond Select that did provide the sample of the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2 from 1993. What do you guys think of the statue? Let me know down below in the comments section. And if you have seen Godzilla 0, let me know what you guys think of the movie down below. I'm still hoping to check that out, and I'm also excited to have a look at the Godzilla X Kong, the new one that we're going to have coming out in Hollywood here. Although I don't know, I like the idea of them fighting basically just an evil version of King Kong. I'm sure they probably could have come up with someone a little bit more interesting than Orange Kong, but of course, I'll hold my opinions of it until the movie eventually comes out. I was kind of on the fence of what I was going to feel like when it came to Godzilla vs. Kong, and I absolutely love that movie. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments section. Also, hey, as well, if you guys want to certainly stick around for more, considering that this is kind of Godzilla time right now, we are going to be looking at a couple more Godzilla statues. So if that's the kind of thing you'd like to come back to this channel for, certainly do come back. But in the meantime, though, popping up at the very end of this video will be a playlist of other things I've looked at for Diamond Select, as well as you can check out my playlist for all statues that I've looked at here on this channel as well. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.